Welcome to this episode of the Secure Attachment Code. My name's Tracy Malone, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the golden parent, that parent that you may just have put on the pedestal. One of the most confronting parts of healing is realizing that the parent you thought was the safe one may not have actually felt safe to your nervous system. Not because they were cruel, not because they didn't love you, but because safety is not measured by love. Safety is measured by what your body lived through. Today I want to talk about the golden parent, the parent we often idealise, the parent we protect, the parent we excuse, and the parent we may eventually need to tell the truth about if we want secure attachment within ourselves. This really is not about blame. Anyone who works with me knows that blaming parents is not any part of what I do. This is about the truth. And the truth is how the nervous system updates and how the nervous system heals itself. In order to talk about the golden parent, let's talk about attachment theory for a moment. We know now that our attachment style is wired into us from the age of 0 in utero to the age of 2. Attachment isn't built from one big event, it's built from repeat experiences, thousands of them. Those micro moments. Does someone come when I need help? Do I matter? When I want to be seen, do I matter? When I have needs, do I matter? Can I be soothed when I'm not feeling good about myself, when I need to co-regulate as there's someone there? Am I even allowed to have needs? Can I be too much? If I'm too much, what will happen then? Can they hold me even when I'm too much? This teaches our nervous system something really important. Before we have language as a child, we have sensation. Before we have story that makes us, we have a state. And our body is mapping safety long before our mind could ever possibly understand it. It's important to understand children don't need perfect parents. They need regulated enough parents. Repairs matter more than perfection. I say all the time that our relationships are based on our ability to repair them. That's where the real strength and foundation comes from. And we don't have to be a great parent. It's a good enough parent. It's being there enough times. It's creating enough safety for the child's nervous system to become securely attached. If one of our parents can't meet the emotional needs consistently for us, the nervous system will look for regulation elsewhere. This is where the golden parent often begins. If one parent feels frightening and unpredictable, they're abandoning us, they're explosive, or they're emotionally absent, or emotionally immature themselves, the child will then often organise around the other parent. Not necessarily because the other parent was safe, but because the other parent was safer. So not completely safe, but safer than the one that is in front of us. And it's a big distinction because it's survival. Children need attachment. They don't need accuracy. Accuracy comes later. Survival comes first. And our need to belong is stronger than our need to have our needs met. So, as children, we will abandon parts of ourselves before we risk losing attachment. So what we do in childhood is our body and our nervous system will create a hierarchy. We'll have the dangerous and unpredictable parent. We will have the safer parent, which is the golden parent. The one who loved me the best way they knew how, but it was better than the other parent. The one who understood me. One parent will understand you more than the other one often in these situations. And the one who wasn't as bad. Sometimes, though, that golden parent wasn't actually safer anyway. Sometimes they are enmeshed. And what enmeshed means is that there's no clear emotional boundaries between you and the parent. The child becomes parentified. As a child, you become parentified and you become responsible for the parent's emotions. So you become the co-regulator of your parent instead of your parent being the co-regulator of you. And this kind of closeness and reversal of roles can actually feel like safety. But it may actually be fusion and what we call entanglement in family constellations. It is not regulation. And this kind of entanglement creates confusion later in adult intimacy. So when you grow up and you go out and have adult relationships, you can become really confused around this because closeness can feel like obligation instead of connection. So in order to have a relationship, it means you have to be the co-regulator and the one who looks after the other person's emotions. And that's where we get out of order completely. And that's where we get really resentful in relationships because we continually get attracted to people who aren't emotionally mature themselves yet. Let's take a moment to talk about divorce and separation. So when parents separate, children often idealise the parent that they remain with. Not always because that parent was healthier. Sometimes proximity creates that dependency. The nervous system adapts to who is actually there, not necessarily who was the safest. And this can really deepen that golden parent bond, especially if the child becomes emotionally partnered with that parent, like listening and supporting the parent through the breakup, carrying the parent's grief, taking up more roles and responsibilities now that the other parent isn't there. It creates parentification. Parentification is something I see so often in my clients, and it's something that I've also dealt with in my own life. So what it looks like is you always being the strong one. You were a support to one of your parents. You know, I was mum's support, or dad really needed me after this happened. This is not secure attachment. This is adaptation. It's brilliant adaptation. We have many adaptive strategies that are absolutely brilliant, but it's quite heavy as well to carry this into adulthood. So what's all this got to do with our healing journey? When we're healing, often we don't realize there's a golden parent. But when we start healing, we usually begin with the obvious wounds. The harsh parent, the rejecting parent, the chaotic parent, the absent parent, the emotionally unavailable parent. But eventually, the healing reaches the golden parent. If you've been working on healing wounds, especially if you do body-led healing and one parent comes up consistently. So if you're a woman, often it's the father or it's the narcissistic parent. If you have a narcissistic parent, they kind of take the cake. If one parent comes up consistently, then you would hope that sooner or later, over time, once you really start to heal this wound, it becomes safe to turn and look at the other parent. And I did this myself many, many years ago. I remember all of those moments of healing my dad was presenting. And then I was asked to turn and look at my mum. And I felt such extraordinary rage towards her. I had no reason. Nothing was coming up specifically for me to be looking in that direction. But once I actually looked and stood in my body while I looked, that's when I had an enormous amount of rage. And if you do this and experience it, it's not because that parent harmed you directly. My mum didn't actually ever do anything to make me look at a wound with her in it. It's because they didn't protect you. They saw what was going on. They knew what was going on with the other parent. Often they stayed if you're not in a breakup, or they left too late after the damage was done. They minimised what was going on. If you went to complain to them about that parent, they actually wouldn't do much about it. They'd try to soothe you and make you feel better, but they wouldn't address it with the other parent at all. And they normalised, oh, you know this is how he is when he gets home from work, or you know this is how he is after he's been drinking. You just need to stay away from him. You need to create adaptive strategies. That parent didn't do the adult thing and go and take it up with the other parent. Because they may have comforted you after the harm, but they didn't actually stop the harm. And this creates a massive nervous system wound and inner child wound, because protection is attachment. Being comforted after harm is not the same as being protected from harm. Once this comes into your awareness, it can actually be really hard to face, and that's why I didn't go in consciously or cognitively into that role. It was somebody very skilled who had me look in that direction, and it's what somatically came up out of my body. And it's a really hard truth to face because we are wired for loyalty. We have a blind love towards our parents that is one of the strongest things that create our nervous system, is that blind love and loyalty to our parents. And family systems are built on belonging. Remember that our need to belong is greater than our need to have needs. It's greater than our need to be authentic. It's greater than our need to speak up. And family systems are built on belonging. So the truth can really feel like a betrayal to the family system and the lie that's been told in all this time. And that's why we can really so often resist this layer. And the thoughts and words that we might use to keep ourselves stuck without having to look at this is, but they did their best. They loved me. They had trauma too. They were a victim too. And all of that can and may be true, and you are still impacted. And when we become adults, we hold the complexity of the and. We hold the complexity of our parents did the best they possibly could. Both parents did the best they possibly could with the tools they had available to them, which oftentimes was none at all. And we can heal from that. We can be really angry at our parents and have a deep love and respect at the same time for everything it is that they went through. Full knowledge that they didn't have the tools, and we can be really angry and process our anger and our rage and our lack of needs being met by these parents at the same time. You are not disloyal to your parents if you actually feel rage towards them. And you're not doing this in the room with them. You're doing this in a safe therapeutic environment. And you're processing it through your own body. And nothing actually gets thrown at them in real life. Because as you know, as an adult, nothing's black and white. And there is no hero and there is no villain. There's just truth and impact. And they come together. And one of the other things that often keeps us stuck from looking at this golden parent is because we think anger is wrong. So anger is not wrong. Anger is not bad. Anger is such a beautiful emotion. Anger is passion for oneself. Anger is I have needs and boundaries too. And something that has happened here is not okay. And I have every right to feel angry about it. The thing with anger is that we do it in a way that is safe for those people around us, and that we are taking full responsibility for our anger, not trying to throw it at another person. But anger is such a beautiful emotion. And when it is utilized for the force that it is, we can move mountains. Anyone who's been through a cyclone, you go out and stand out in the middle of a cyclone, you think, wow, Mother Earth's pretty angry today. And look at the force that comes through that, and look at the impact that she can have. And that's the same as our anger. It can destroy or it can release. Imagine releasing that much anger from your system. That's actually available to you. Because if you haven't processed that anger, you're carrying it. You're carrying it inside your body, probably inside your fascia, in different places around your body. And you don't have to carry that anymore. And what anger does is it says, that mattered. What happened actually mattered. And you can sweep it under the rug and you can say, well, that's just how he was. You need to accept him or her exactly as they are. But it hurt you. It mattered to you, and that hurt you. And that wasn't okay. And anger is often the first truth. And for many trauma survivors, anger was unsafe. So it got buried. And what buried anger often becomes is anxiety and people pleasing and hypervigilance and shutdown, dorsal vagal, or it's perfectionism and it's over-functioning. And remember that the body keeps any unfinished feelings and incomplete cycles. So it keeps receipts. Our body keeps receipts like a cranky office manager with excellent filing systems. Those receipts are within us. And we can absolutely take those receipts out at any time we like and express them and complete those cycles. So you might like to take a moment right now, if this has brought something up in your body, where do you feel that anger in your body? Is it in your jaw? Is it in your hands? Are they a bit clenchy? Is it in your chest? Is it in your belly, your stomach, your gut? Is it in your throat? Wherever you're kind of feeling that now, that's where the truth might just be waiting for you. And know that anger isn't the end stage. It's often the doorway. So it opens something underneath it. Underneath that, we might have the grief that that parent actually wasn't all that we thought they were. The grief that we've been holding this person on a pedestal for all these years. Grief opens truth. So you open to that truth. There is something so magnificent in family constellations. I see it all the time with healing sentences where you just speak the truth and the whole system rests. So if you've been lying to yourself all of these years about the golden parent and how they were the good one, and you speak the truth and say maybe they weren't safe either. And feel what that does in your body. So you've got the grief and then you've got the truth. And truth is the gateway to freedom. It really is. So let's wind this now into secure attachment. Secure attachment is not pretending that everything was fine. It's allowing reality. And secure attachment to yourself means I can feel what is true. And I can hold what is true. And I don't have to edit my reality in order to stay connected. Connected to my family, connected to my body, connected to myself. I've got some questions for you now. And these may very well be take it for a walk questions, or they might be journal prompts. So if you like journaling, you might sit down and journal. If you like taking things for a walk or taking them to sit under a tree and ruminating on them, these are for you. What did I need that I did not get? Who knew? Who looked away? Who needed me to stay quiet? Who am I still protecting? Some really beautiful opportunities to open some doors in there. And if you need support after opening those doors, you know where to find me. And remember, healing is not about punishing our parents. It's about ending self-abandonment. Whilst we allow our parents to get away with not meeting our needs, we are still abandoning our inner parts and our parts of self that still have not had their needs met. And by ending that self-abandonment, that's how you build secure attachment right now inside of yourself. There may have been a parent that you protected because your nervous system needed someone to survive. And that made sense then. But healing asks for something different. Healing asks for truth. And the truth is not cruel. The truth is clarifying. Something that you might like to do now, If you're not driving a car, you could possibly do it while you're driving a car, but you can imagine one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach. So placing one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach, and just breathe and say to yourself, I'm safe enough now to feel what was once too much. My truth belongs to me. My feelings do not make me disloyal. Just a little reset for your body there, speaking to those inner parts. And if you want to learn more about secure attachment, you can go to my website and look at the Secure Attachment Code Masterclass. It's 90 minutes where I go deep into all of these concepts and I teach you the 4 pillars of secure attachment. You might also like to have a look at the Secure Attachment Code Bundle, which is the 4 pillars in courses all bundled together. You can buy the courses separately. You can also look at the Self-Healer Tribe, which is an online community, or you can work with me one-on-one. So go and have a look at my website, tracymalone.co, and see how it is that I might be able to support you through this. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Secure Attachment Code. I look forward to seeing you next week.